So tell me a little bit more about the Fire and Ice Festival that you guys attended yesterday.
Go ahead.
So Luthercare sponsors Fire and Ice. We're
Okay.
one of the main sponsors of Fire and Ice, and we always sponsor the opening night event. It's done at the T-shirt factory.
Mm-hmm.
There in downtown. We have the ice sculptor always starts that first sculpture on the Thursday night. There's live music and a band. It is a ticket-only event.
Yeah.
But we were so grateful. We had probably between residents and employees, we
50.
probably had about 50 people
That's great.
that were there, and it was just a great opportunity. The band is an amazing brass band with a wonderful singer, and it had everybody up dancing and having just a great time. There's food. So we had people that are residents, we had people that are future residents that are on our wait list, and as well as staff. So it was a great time to be able to interact in kind of a different way.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody was dancing. The
That's
residents
great.
were dancing with the staff, and it was wonderful. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's a good time when everybody starts dancing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're like at a wedding or something like that.
It was
So,
great.
It was
That's
interesting
cool.
because there's multiple floors, and there is a dance floor right at the stage.
Yeah.
But we tend to gravitate to the third floor because you can see the band, and we just made our own dance floor.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
it was
Oh, it's a
really
lot of fun.
it was
Yeah.
a good time.
That's a lot of fun. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. Obviously, Melissa, I know you a little bit.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about you, family,
Sure.
career.
So I am not a native of Lancaster County. I actually have lived in 13 states and in Germany twice.
Wow.
So I'm very much a transplant, but my husband has never lived outside of Lancaster County. So his family is all here, and now my children are here. I got into retirement living marketing when I sat on that side of the table from a sales counselor when I was looking for my in-laws, and navigated that road with them and said, hey, that's what I want to do. I love helping people. I've been through the process myself personally with my in-laws, and I love that connection that you make with helping people find the right fit for them.
Thank you. Christian, how about you?
I am a part-time transplant. I'm from Northeast Pennsylvania, a town called Archibald. It's about 6 miles north of Scranton, and that is where my home is. And I work in Lancaster County, so I'm here during the week, and I'm up north on weekends.
Gotcha.
I've been doing this for about 7 years now here at Luthercare. I started my career in the clinical side. I'm an RN, and I worked in long-term care for 30 years, and I've basically done everything in long-term care. You know, I'm a registered nurse. I was a director of nursing, an administrator, an executive director. Worked on the operations side for a really long time, and then got more into the business development, census growth piece, and here I am.
Awesome. So you have a lot of experience within the industry and
In the industry.
worn a lot of hats.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could, I always say I'm the 3 legs of the stool. It's clinical, operations, and sales and marketing.
Yeah. Is it rare to have all 3 of those?
Yes, I am a unicorn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people wouldn't be good at all 3 of those. I think that's pretty cool that you're able to succeed and thrive in each one of those.
It's the industry. I love the
Yeah.
industry. I always have.
Yeah.
I always have. And it depends on where you are in the industry, whether you're in skilled nursing side of it, personal care, independent living. It is always about transition, big life transitions, and choices, and care and compassion, and how you navigate and move through that. And that's what I've always enjoyed about it. From when I was in college, I worked as a dietary aide, and then as a
in like a senior community
in
or
care.
okay.
And then I was a CNA in a nursing home. So just every step of the way, it's the same emotions and energy are involved no matter what you're doing in this business, and it's all interconnected. So if you have you really understand it and you have a passion for it, it's easy to be good at all the different parts.
Did you know you wanted to work with seniors, like from an early age,
I
or
did
did it?
not. No,
Okay.
I was an art major
Oh,
when
wow.
I first started. And I needed a summer job, and my best friend's mother was the dining manager at a personal care. And I got a job as a dietary aide, and I loved the residents.
Yeah.
I loved the residents, and that's how I got started doing it, you know. But it's something in here. It's just you have to get it, you know. And I know Melissa's the same way. She and I are both operators,
Yeah.
you know.
I have my administrator's license to be a personal care home administrator, and that's actually how I got started, was doing sales and marketing for a personal care home. And then I graduated up the ranks until I was the executive director running a small community, and really love the residents and working with the families and being able to help people was really important for me. And so I got my operator's license, but really after running a unit for about 6 years, realized two things. Number one, I really love the sales side of things. And the number two thing was I really wanted to work for a not-for-profit. I was on the for-profit side when I first got in, and I really wanted to work for a not-for-profit. So,
Tell me more about that.
it's just different. You know, I think Luthercare is not-for-profit, obviously, but it's very mission-based. It's about our mission. It's not about filling beds solely. It's about the mission, and the residents come first, and what we can do for them. And it's very different. Ask anybody that's worked both sides of that. For-profit, not-for-profit, it is just a completely different beast.
It is, and I've worked for both as well.
Yeah.
And it's just very different in not-for-profit. And people always say, you don't make a profit. I'm like, no, we do. We make a profit, but our profit goes back to our mission.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think people understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But I do kind of, without expertise, knowledge like the two of you ladies have, I do understand it's like, you know, no man can serve two masters. It's like, are you serving the residents or are you serving the shareholders? And I think that's oftentimes pulling in two completely different directions, because what's best for the shareholders is not necessarily what's best for the residents, and vice versa.
100%.
Yeah, okay. So describe to me, if you could, each of you, what you do at Luther Acres, and then what's your favorite part of your job?
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm the director of sales. When I started at Luther Acre, I just did personal care admissions. And as things turn over, I just have gradually, I do all levels of care except for skilled nursing. That's a special little entity in and of itself, because you're dealing with hospitals and insurances and stuff like that. So I've stayed just independent living or personal care. And my favorite part is just the ability to help people, whether I can help them at Luther Acres or not. My goal is to help you make educated decisions, but also to find the right place to call home. Because just like when you are looking for colleges with your kids, at a certain point your kid looks at you and says, these are my people. And that's what I like to help people find, because there are so many options in Lancaster County, but we're all different. We all have our own different ways of doing things, even though we're offering the similar services. And so being able to find the place where people can make that connection and find their home and their people is really exciting to me.
And she's so good at it. So talented. Such a knack for people. It's like we call her matchmaker extraordinaire. No, seriously, people have friends before they live there. That Melissa makes those connections. There's residents that open their homes to her, so any prospect could see it, will attend events with us, for us, get to know potential residents. Our priority wait list is, they're practically residents. They've become friends with each other. They've become friends with current residents, and that's it is all due to you. That's really it's great to watch, and really helps. This is a big life change. It is like going to college. And you
Yeah,
go to
it's
the
huge.
you go to the dorm, and you don't have any friends. People have friends before they move in.
Yeah.
If
That's beautiful.
if they choose, if they're that
they
type
choose, yeah.
of person.
Right. Well, if they get to if they get to feel like they're part of the community before they're officially moved in and part of the community, then it's going to make that so much easier for them and for everyone. Right.
And I think, and it's probably some questions that you may have for us as we go through this, but even the difficult conversations that you have to have sometimes with families,
Yeah.
whether it's the adult children or the potential resident or a husband and wife, that is something that I think you do such a great job at, and it has really helped this constant flow of move-ins that are really ready to be with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard thing. I mean, a lot of the folks I move, help them sell their homes and move to a retirement community. Some of them are gung-ho and ready to go, right? Some of them, the husband is not ready to go, the wife is gung-ho. Some of them, they're both feeling very ambivalent. One day they're knowing, oh yeah, this is definitely where we need to go. The next day they're questioning, right? And so it is a hard, it's a hard transition for sure.
We don't take that for granted. And as operators, as both having been operators, we definitely don't take it for granted. But also having walked that with my in-laws. I didn't have the guidance and the knowledge that I needed then that I try to help people understand now, because I just didn't know. And now it's more about, let's find the right place for you. Sometimes I have to have some pretty tough conversations because not everybody is as realistic as others.
Right. And as they wait and wait, options become limited.
Everything changes as they wait,
Decisions feel
right?
rushed, right?
Yeah.
And that
Their health is changing sometimes.
Right. And
they might have had a diagnosis or a fall, so they might enter the picture as really have this vision of this beautiful whatever that they want that there's a really long wait list from, but then as things progress, sometimes that changes based on what's going on with them.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes, unless you've gone through it with someone or had a best friend who you saw walk through this, not everybody thinks, oh, I want to go live in a nursing home. And that's not what we are. We're not your grandma's nursing home. It truly is a retirement community. It's about living your best lives and having the freedom to live your best lives while you still can, but knowing that you have the options for those care needs as you progress, as you have new diagnoses or emergency situations arise. It's about the pre-planning that you do so that you're not caught the way that my family was caught with, oh, we got to do something and we got to do something now. Because when you wait too long, you really miss the whole opportunity to live the vibrant, exciting, last chapters of your life, and really make them what you want.
Yeah, and I want to get into that. We will. Kristen, could you tell me a little bit about what you do at Luthercare, and then also what's your favorite part of the job?
Well, I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Lifestyle Operations. I know, long title. But what's under my umbrella is sales, marketing, and communications. And that is for Luthercare. So
So not just Luther Acres.
Right, it's Luther Acres, it's St. John's, it's our child care, it's our home care, it's everything.
The whole umbrella
that we do.
Of Luthercare.
And communications as well. I have recruitment, which sounds crazy, but think about it, right? The workforce, too, is very challenging. And so it's recruitment marketing. So recruitment is not under HR umbrella at Luthercare. It's under the sales and marketing and lifestyle piece.
So you're hiring people, or?
I have a director of recruitment, and that's an assistant recruiter, and they do all of the recruiting. Okay, so that's the outreach, the community outreach, the job fair screening, bringing people in, creating a pipeline to bring to hiring managers to interview. Then it's turned over to human resources and that piece. But
I see. Okay.
right. So,
Yeah.
so and it's pretty cool. It's a different way to look at it, and because you do have to sell employment.
Mm-hmm.
It's very competitive. Think about it. In Lancaster County, there's 20 providers like us in a 10-mile radius,
Right.
with the same employee pool. So we have that, and then we have a new position. It's lifestyle operations. So the director of lifestyle operations is in our umbrella, and this is a brand new position. He's in discovery right now, doing focus groups with our residents, because we're in transition even with generations. So we have younger boomers, older boomers, the silent generation. You have people in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s. Everyone has a little bit different view of what's wellness to them, what's lifestyle to them, and what people in their early 60s are going to want in 3 or 4 years when they decide they're ready to move in. So we're just doing it's a journey of discovering and adapting and evolving our lifestyle offerings, because it's not your mother's nursing home. It's
Right.
trips, it's education, it's lifelong learning, it's dances and liquor licenses and medi spas and Botox and you name it. You'll see this is what people want, and I think
Is this what the baby boomers want? Because we're kind of transitioning
Yes.
between silent generation and baby boomers
yes,
right now.
and they want fine dining, and they want to they want a masseuse. They want to be on a cruise all the time, right? Looking even where they park their cars and what they're driving and what they're eating, and telehealth versus there's so many things. Technology. We're evolving in technology, and more residents are tech savvy, whereas 5 years ago they weren't.
They still thought they needed a landline.
A landline.
Yes.
Right. So now we're working on, a better community app, and it's like the Jetsons a little bit. You do everything on these screens in their units, and so that's what this director of lifestyle operations is working on.
Interesting. How is AI impacting what you do at this point?
It's just starting to, and we find it very positive. Again, it helps us streamline our work. It helps us create project plans and all of that for us, for employees, for residents. This is things that we're working with our dining partners. There's something we're looking at. It's called Casper AI, and that is how you can monitor falls and in skilled nursing, mobility, things like that. So we're exploring all of it and slowly implementing.
Yeah.
That's where
we're just on the cusp.
We're on the cusp.
Some people are really plowing forward. Other people are just kind of like gradually implementing here and there. And
we are again in the discovery, exploration phase of AI, very open to it and excited about it.
Right.
Our employees and our residents. So.
Nice. Who would you say your community is best suited for? Because you alluded to it earlier, Kristen. There's many offerings in Lancaster County, around 20 or so. What makes Luther Acres different?
It's one of my favorite things to do is to talk to residents about. They'll say, "Well, we're looking here and we're looking there," and I said, "Okay, well, bottom line, you can't go wrong in Lancaster County." Wonderful communities, look for the not-for-profits that have the full continuum of care there on campus. Let me tell you how we're different, because I really think that we're all alike, but how are we different? And for us at Luther Acres, we're smaller. We're, with this new neighborhood, about 650 residents,
Mm-hmm.
and that's at all levels of care. Some of our competitors are 2 or 3 times that. So I think that we have, and our residents will tell you this, we're a family. We're a big family. We look out for one another. We get to know each other. You know, I have residents that have been at my home. We're just a big family. Now, I deal with them when they're going through a very strenuous time in their life, and we make connections. But last night before Fire and Ice, I was on Main Street with one of my future residents, just visiting for an hour before the event started. It's a family. At any community, you can get lost if you want to. But if you want to be a part of something, if you want to be able to contribute to something, I think we're a great option because we're not huge. I think that's one thing. I think there are certain ways that we're a little more progressive than some communities in Lancaster County. Kristen, said we have a liquor license. We don't make you drink, but if you like to have a drink with
We
dinner,
have a bar.
We have a bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Oftentimes
Is that super unusual? Are there other? I'm not asking you to know everything that goes on at every
do,
community.
and some are dry.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
some are completely dry.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's even frowned to put your recycling out if you have wine in your cottage or
Oh my.
apartment.
Okay.
So
Will that change when the baby boomers are fully in place? I
Yeah,
don't know.
we know.
who
Interesting.
knows? So I think in some ways like that we're a little more progressive that we allow that.
Right. Okay. Nice.
So
And, we do have a very talented staff. It's beautifully appointed. We have our value proposition, learn, discover, join the journey. Something that we have at Luthercare is a resident navigator. So when you move in, you meet with the navigator. And she, or the team, the navigation team, will plan your journey at Luthercare. And what does that mean? And it might change what wellness is when you move in when you're 72. And let's see, what does your journey look like now? What do you need? What do you want? We have concierge. We have a resident advocate who will help people navigate through the continuum of care. And everybody's story looks different. But it's like she said, it's a family. There's a lot of resident-led activities. A lot. They have attic treasures. They have their own store. They have this Christmas bazaar is
huge. It's outgrown our space. We've expanded. We used to just have it in our community room, which probably holds
it holds 350 people.
350 people. But now we've expanded out into the town center and in the chapel and up the hallway. And we have vendors that come in, and we have residents who, we have a wood shop on campus, and we have woodworkers that make beautiful charcuterie boards and cutting boards and just boxes, and just incredibly talented residents who like to share their craft with others. Right. And it's a 2-day bazaar, usually in early December.
Yeah.
And it's resident run.
It's all resident run.
That's great.
We have a beautiful art gallery, and every other month a resident's artwork or craft or needlepoint is featured, or sometimes photography, or sometimes we have staff of talented children and they're artists and their work is displayed, and then the residents get to enjoy that, or people's collections. Remember the guy with the cameras?
Yeah.
It's amazing. We have a pretty cool bunch of people that live with us and that work with us.
Yeah, that's great. No, thank you for sharing. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Let me transition to a little bit of a different topic, which is like, how should a family know when it might be time to transition to a retirement community like Luther Acres?
I think that if you've waited until you need it, you probably waited too long. I think that you should.
What do you mean by that? Because
oftentimes, people will. We have a very healthy wait list. Some of those people on that wait list will never move.
What are you looking
they're
at
not
in terms
ready.
of wait list? What if somebody said they want? And I know it will depend on what somebody's looking for.
It's
But
going to depend on size.
Yeah.
Obviously, a 1-bedroom usually is going to be less of a wait than it would be if you wanted a large 2-bedroom with a garage. But oftentimes, families are afraid to have that conversation. And I know because I was that family afraid to have that conversation. And mom and dad talked about moving to a retirement community, but it got to a point that they waited so long that they couldn't wrap their heads around how do I get from point A to point B. And it was just too overwhelming.
They were overwhelmed,
They
yeah.
were completely
Right.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest misconception that people have is that something's going to be available for them when they're ready.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm ready to move. Let's move into. We want to find a cottage at, Luther Acres.
It's not like going to a restaurant.
No.
It's not like, oh, let me just put my name on the wait list, and 25 minutes later, oh, okay, 15 minutes later, okay, my table's ready.
I can tell
It's like
you.
you got to make your reservation or
I'm going to
before you're hungry,
a
right?
story. This and we can continue
Yeah.
with your
No,
line
this is
of
great.
questioning. But it was on a Thursday afternoon, and I don't know if you know what I'm going to tell you.
I do.
And an apartment opened, and Melissa started to call. I don't even think she called the wait list yet, but word gets out because everybody knows each other and
Right.
residents who live there or whatever. This couple barged into the welcome center because they knew they were on the list and they wanted to. We know it's open and we know that somebody else is going to look at it if we don't. I mean, they barged in. Do you remember that day?
Mhm.
Because they heard that it became open and they knew they were next or they wanted to be next or they wanted to get. I forget. The details. But I was like, oh my gosh.
And word of mouth is strong in any community. I think one thing that's different about us is because our people on our wait list are very engaged on our campus. They can utilize our fitness center. They can come to programs on campus. So oftentimes they get to know people. And I always find it funny when they come to me and say, I heard so-and-so's cottage is coming available. And I don't even know it yet, but they know it. And it just hadn't trickled down to me yet.
Right.
But I have to go to the wait list, and then we
Right.
go to the wait list and look at that. But to get back to your point about, when you come to a retirement community, guess what? They're expensive. Come when you can enjoy what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
When you wait until you can't take care of your home anymore, and the kids are like, we got to do something because I'm not living with mom and dad. It's too late,
Right, and
because
then
there are
there's-
waits everywhere.
and there's
Every
less options.
now and then you might be able to get in somewhere, but it's rare. And
Right.
you mentioned sometimes the wife wants to come, but the husband doesn't. I literally had a family show up on a Friday afternoon, and we had offered them a number of things. He did not want to come. She was ready to be there. The son-in-law shows up in our office on a Friday afternoon. What do you have available? Dad just died and mom wants to be here. And I'm like,
Wow.
I'm sorry, our condolences. We had one bedroom apartment, the smallest apartment we have, and they took the floor plan. They said, can we see it? And I said, I have a few minutes. I can take you over and show it to you, but it's not quite ready yet. And they called me Monday morning. They had their application done. They had everything they needed. They said, can we bring mom on Thursday?
Sometimes it happens
And
that
I
Wow.
said, absolutely, bring mom on Thursday. Well, what they didn't say is, the funeral's Thursday morning, and we're all
Oh,
going to
my.
be together. So can we just bring mom and come and see her new apartment on
Right.
Thursday
Right.
from the funeral?
Wow.
And she moved in a month later. That's rare. That does not happen very often because we have a wait list for everything on campus. But there are people on that wait list that may never move because they joined the list because one wants to be on it, but the other one doesn't want to move. Or I can't tell you how many times I hear, well, we're going to move when he dies. Okay, it's a
That's
great
true.
plan.
That's true.
But that happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
will hear that. And then others come and just embrace it full throttle. And, you know, we've got a woman right now who has lived there 2 years, and she's our resident council president. You know, she just dove right in and found what she was passionate about. You know, residents will come to us with ideas. Hey, we'd like to do this club or start this, or we have a program that was completely resident run and thought of. They worked with our social worker called No Resident Dies Alone. And it's for individuals either in our skilled nursing or that are on hospice care and receiving end-of-life care. And if the family needs to go home and get a little rest, they can come in, and we have volunteers that do 2-hour shifts. A resident came up with that.
No, that's beautiful.
And we were able to roll that out, and it's her passion to be able to do that.
I love that, and I'm glad you shared that story. But for a cottage, what are we looking at wait time for a cottage right now?
A cottage with a garage is our longest wait.
Okay.
And you can wait anywhere from 2 years to 6 years. It depends on how specific you want to be.
Right.
At Luther Acres, it's not cookie cutter.
Right.
We have probably 30 different floor plans.
We do.
And so it depends on what you want. But the more specific you are, I need 10-foot ceilings. I need a 2-car garage. I need a fireplace. I need cathedral. You know, whatever it is that you need, you're gonna wait longer. So I've had people that I've called in 2 years. I've had people that have been on a lot longer than that.
So cottages, 2 to 6 years. How about apartments? I mean, I know there's probably a difference between a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom wait list.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Usually a 1-bedroom, because we have more of those, you can get in quicker. But anywhere from 6 months to 3 years.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, and this is, everybody always wants to know, well, how long is it going to take? And I explain to them that the reality is something has to happen to the person that lives there.
Right.
Because we're 100% full.
Right.
So something has to happen to that person before we can offer it to someone else.
Yeah.
So I can't predict that.
These are all questions that people have to ask,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the equivalent of me as a real estate agent. How long is my house going to take to sell? I don't know, right? I can give you an idea of what other homes like it how long they've taken to sell, but we don't know exactly, right? So there's just some questions that people are always going to need to ask, and you're never going to be able to 100% say, hey, this is how long it's going to be. Except you do have the new neighborhood.
We do.
Which is, you have units available
ready to go.
right away.
Right away.
So would you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So we were able to expand with 37 homes that are part of the Lititz Reserve that is just adjacent to our campus. They're larger than anything we have on campus. They have a 2-car garage. We only have 2 on campus that have 2-car garages. Most of them are a 1-car. So it's a different offering, and we can open it up to people that aren't on the wait list, and they could come tomorrow. I had a gentleman come in, and he and his wife had been looking. They were on a couple of wait lists, but they really want to move now. They didn't want to spend another winter, taking care of their home or having to think about mulch and in the spring and gardening and home maintenance. They didn't want to do that. So they were able to get there in 2 months.
Yeah, so that's very unusual, obviously, for Lancaster to have something that's brand new construction with no wait list that you can move in. What are your entry pricing levels there, and then what does that top out at typically?
So every retirement community has different entrance fee plans. We have 2. One of them is a lower amount up front, but it depreciates in value over 50 months to a 0 refundable balance. And then the other one, you're paying more up front, but you're guaranteed 75% of that back when you move to a higher level of care. So on the low end, it starts anywhere from $420,000 up to, on the high end for the asset preservation, up to $880,000.
Okay.
So wide range.
Yeah.
But it depends on the entrance fee plan.
I love how transparent your website is, that you have all your pricing on the website. I don't know how many other communities do that, but I just thought it was really, really cool. Also, I also say and I'll link your website down on the below under the comments, or I'll pin it to a thing on YouTube so people can access it. I also thought it was pretty cool that you have all the virtual tours on there, so you can really get a good sense of what your campus is like, what your shared spaces are like. Which is really, I think it's great, especially to have somebody who's maybe doesn't live in the area, or extended family wants to kind of check out, hey, what is this all about? What do the different rooms look like? What are the amenities? I thought that was really, really neat. And I don't like a lot of virtual tours. The virtual tours on your website they're not disorienting. They don't make you they don't make you dizzy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so the way that they were done was very useful, because some of those virtual tours, it's like, I quit after a couple minutes because I'm like, this is getting on my nerves. But anyway, sidebar.
And I think that sometimes people think that maybe that's all we have, and it's not. I've worked at Luthercare for going on 11 years. We probably have, I know we have floor plans I have never seen, because we're a campus that's been here for 75 years. Over the years, people change things and build other things, and so there are floor plans. I've never seen that particular floor plan. I know where it is, but I've never been inside. And then sometimes we'll go into ones and we're like, oh, that's not what we thought it was. It's something else. Or it's a mishmash of two floor plans. And so you're never going to see every floor plan. And I always tell people, please don't fall in love with one specific floor plan, because I might only have one or two of those. And if I do, that wait list is now going to go to 20 years, because I got to wait for the person that's there to something to happen. Yes. So,
what's your policy on wait list if someone declines something that comes up over and over? Do you have a certain amount of declines before they go to the bottom of the list, or how does that work at Luther?
The way that we work it, we try to be pretty fair and transparent. So we do it chronologically by the date that you join the wait list. We start at the top, we work our way down. If I call you and you're just not ready, I move on to the next person. But if I call you and you say, hey, I think this might be the one, I want to come take a look at it, and then you come take a look at it and you say, yeah, I don't want that one, that's a decline. You get 2 declines before you would drop to the bottom.
But if you're just not ready, you stay on.
Ready, or I may call and it's right before the holidays.
So not today.
Hey, we've got 2 trips planned in the next 3 months. I'm not throwing in a move in there too. Or, some people want very specific locations, or my best friend lives over here, I want to be in this cul-de-sac.
Right.
You're going to wait longer for those.
Right.
So, but if you just, we call. When we call, I'll tell you what floor plan it is. I give you the floor plan. I give you the current rates. I tell you what level of renovation we're going to do, because not every home gets a complete renovation. It really depends on how long the previous resident lived there. We try to be very fiscally responsible, just like we ask our residents to be fiscally responsible. So not every home is going to get a full makeover. No. At a minimum, you're going to get paint and flooring. But if there are cabinets that are in there that are 5 years old with quartz countertops, I'm not ripping those out.
No.
So if you don't like white cabinets, then you can wait for the next one for me to offer you. You have that choice.
Right. Or reno it yourself.
Yeah.
They could.
Somebody could pay to
and they have
extra to do that if
this,
they were ready to move in. They like everything.
I want this cottage, but I don't want those cabinets, so I will pay to have those renovated. People do that. One thing that I like to talk about now that we have the new neighborhood, something that is always a challenge is downsizing. People attached to their homes and their things, and it's very hard sometimes. We work with a Fork in the Road. They help with downsizing. We've had downsizing seminars. It's always part of the conversation. That's always a deciding factor. A lot of times people may not want to leave that big dining room table, and that's that. And there's a lot of feeling involved in its things, and it's a lot of counseling, I think, letting go of your things. They're just things. The memories are here. We do that is true, but sometimes people just want their stuff. which I understand. And in the new neighborhood, bring all of your stuff.
Bring your dining room.
Yes. So if you're not ready for that downsize move, which maybe you can take it with you, because then maybe when you transition onto campus, when maybe you're ready for a smaller apartment at the Luther Townhome, then you'll be ready to downsize. But you're already a resident at Luther Acres. So it's different for us with this new neighborhood to be able to talk about not downsizing versus downsizing.
Right, definitely. Well, if it's a downsize, it's a very minimal downsize compared to what somebody might do if they're moving from a 2,500 square foot house to what is how many square feet are your apartments typically? A 2-bedroom apartment, 1,000 square feet or?
Right at 997 to 1207 for a 2-bedroom.
Right.
And we have cottages that range from 740 square feet all the way up to 1890.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got
So
little
it's
cottages
huge.
too.
Yeah.
Huge range.
We have a lot of different options.
The what are the square footages range with the new neighborhood?
So the smallest is like 1430 up to 1890.
Up to yeah. So you're pushing 2,000 square feet there, and some have basements.
Some have basements. Some have second floors. Some have second floors and basements.
Right.
Those seem to be very popular with people that are younger seniors, maybe just looking to retire, that still have grandkids or kids that come and visit and sleep over.
Yeah. How many of your residents are on multiple lists at different communities? Do you ask that, or do you just
we don't
really
necessarily
concern
ask
yourselves
it.
with that?
We're not concerned. We just ask them, hey, if anything changes in your situation, please let us know.
Right.
So, interestingly enough, we have people that live in the Lititz Reserve that are on our wait list for campus. And moving to the Lititz Reserve was their first step to get closer to downsizing. And sometimes you'll see that with young retirees that look at 55 pluses. And 55 pluses, they're great, they have their place, but they don't have the next levels of care, so they're not.
You still have another
move
going on.
Move.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you explained your entrance fee model, and I think that was helpful. Feel free to check out the website. I think it does a very good job of explaining that clearly. So what if somebody outlives their savings?
It's a great question. It's one of the reasons I like working for a not-for-profit. Most of the not-for-profits that you'll find, some have, there's multiple types. Luther Acres is what's called a fee-for-service, meaning you're going to pay a fee that's proportionate to the level of care that you're receiving. So when you come in at independent living, which typically people live at that level of living the longest, you're going to pay less. But as your care needs increase, you're going to pay more. If at any point you outlive your funds through no fault of your own, you outlive your funds and you can no longer pay your monthly fee, you apply for what's called benevolent care. Benevolent care follows the same guidelines as Medicaid. So it's a 5-year look back to make sure you haven't willingly depleted assets in order to get a benefit early. And then it's not a guarantee, but it is our mission that residents who spend their money with us stay with us. We do not kick you out when you can no longer pay your fees.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference from my transition from a for-profit to a not-for-profit. I couldn't stomach kicking people out when they could no longer pay their fees after they'd spent thousands and thousands of dollars with us.
Yeah.
And as part of a not-for-profit, that's part of your mission. Our residents, we mentioned earlier, we have a house that people donate things to, and then we sell those things to people, and all that money goes towards benevolent care.
Right.
So you do some fundraising.
We do.
Fundraising.
We have a philanthropy. We have a vice president of philanthropy. We do a lot of fundraising. Our residents do a lot of fundraising. Yes, and so if you do spend all of your money through no fault of your own, we have never had to ask anyone to leave. Care.
Yeah. So that's some good peace of mind,
Yes.
because I'm sure most people don't run out of money, but just knowing that if you did, you still have a safety net under
Exactly.
you is really a big thing.
It is.
Yeah. So awesome. What does a normal day at Luther Acres look like? And I know that could be a wide variety of answers depending on how active somebody wants to be, how engaged they want to be. Like, give me a peek
Well,
into what
you
it's
could
like.
wake up in the morning and you could go to spin aerobics, water aerobics in the pool. After that, you could head on over to the round and you can have an omelet and you can have a cappuccino at the Coffee and Cork. And then if it's a nice day, maybe take a walk around campus, go back to your apartment and get ready for the day's activities, where you may be able to take a class, see a movie, attend a session about technology or storytelling. If you may want to go to the wood shop and make something. Get ready for lunch at Katie's, where if it's in the summer, corn and tomato Wednesday, that's everybody's favorite. That's more diner. Katie's is more like a diner. There's also the round, Coffee and Cork, so there's a variety of restaurants to choose from. We have to-go stations where you can grab and go meals. There's always something going on activity-wise. There's a club, there's a meeting, there's a party on the patio. You know, there's always something fun happening, and there's so many activities. And I apologize, I can't even think of so many of
That's
them.
okay.
I always
You did good. You did good enough that I want to move
happening.
in.
But
so
I will
we're
tell you,
good.
we also have it's called the Chop House, and that is our restaurants. During the day, it's the round, and after 4 o'clock, it becomes the Chop House. It's fine dining. It's fantastic steakhouse. You're welcome anytime to come
Wow.
to dinner.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds great.
There's transportation, so you can call the shuttle, and the shuttle can take you around campus, or you can make an appointment, and the shuttle can take you downtown Lititz. You can hang out down there.
Oh, that's nice.
You can hop on your bike, and a half block away is the entrance to the Lititz to Ephrata Rail Trail. You can go for a bike ride,
That's a beautiful
or maybe
trail.
you just take
Or the
trail
library,
to
the Lititz.
Ziggs.
You can go to
Yeah.
Ziggs.
You can go to Ziggs Bakery, or we're walking distance to the Lititz Public Library. Thursdays, there's a farmer's market downtown at the square. You can go down to the farmer's market right in downtown Lititz.
And then over the summer, we have farmers markets on campus.
Oh, that's cool.
We're starting a partnership with a Lutheran farm, so a Whittle farm, and our residents are going to be able to help at that farm. We're going to do a lot of farm to table meals. We're going to have farmers markets on campus from food from the Whittle farm that our residents will help with. So it's
You have a beautiful garden too.
we
I
have a
saw
horticulture
online.
center,
Yeah.
and that's very, very nice. We're actually looking to expand some plots,
Nice.
make that a little bit bigger. In the process of renovating our fitness center soon. We tell all of our residents, don't worry, pickleball is coming. And
It looks like you had an indoor pickleball court picture in there. Is that
We do.
okay? All right.
Because we don't have the space initially for pickleball with this expansion, we do.
Nice.
But what we did in the interim is we took our dance studio that we hold classes in, and we lined the floor, and we have the equipment, and we have the net, and people can do a modified pickleball when it's raining outside.
Nice.
yeah,
So,
we're working on putting together walking clubs and like walking clubs with kind of Fitbits and all of that. That's what's coming. That's what our lifestyle operations director is doing right now, assessing what people will want, and we're building those programs around that.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're bored at Luther Acres, it's your fault, because there is just so much to do.
And that's going to be the nice thing about the new neighborhood, because it's not physically, it's around the corner from our campus, but it's not physically on campus. But it's all about connection. physical connection, emotional connection, all of that. So even though you're living in the new neighborhood, you're going to be connected to the campus, physically connected to the campus through our shuttle service, through our apps, through our television, our screens, and all of that. And then just the emotional connection, because it is Luther, it's the new neighborhood at Luther Acres.
Mm-hmm.
So even though maybe your backyard isn't not connected to the back of the community center, you are still connected. And that's what part of what we're selling you.
Yeah.
Is that physical and emotional connection in your new neighborhood. So it's kind of the best of both worlds there, because you're in a development.
Right.
You're in a neighborhood, but you're part of Luther Acres, and it's literally a push button away to get on that campus. So
Yeah, it's great. You're still a part of the community.
you're
even though
totally
you're...
100% a part of the community.
Nice. What surprises people most after they move in? What do people say? Are people
I wish I
surprised?
would have done this sooner.
She's
I
100%
hear that
right.
all the time.
Yeah.
Why did I wait so long?
Yeah. Do you know, I don't know if you know this because this is kind of a specific question. Do you know how old the average resident is
I
who's
do.
coming in? Okay. Yeah.
Right now we're at 81.
81.
Is average.
Okay.
Remember, but it has gone down because
It's gone down.
5 years ago it was 83.
Okay.
So now it's 81.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much further it's going to go down, because if you think about everybody, like 50 is the new 30 and 70 is the new 50 and right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, 81.
We have multiple residents who are over 100.
Nice.
Kind of brings that number a little too.
Right, it does.
So I would say that most times people that are looking at cottages are going to be in their 60s and early 70s. Once you're hitting your 80s, mid 80s, you really should be thinking about an apartment.
More an apartment.
Especially
yeah.
because of the wait to get in.
Do you have a lot of people moving from cottages to apartments,
We
or
do.
okay?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're already a resident of a cottage and you want to downsize to an apartment, whether one spouse passes or you're just looking for less to take care of, you go to the internal wait list, and you're at the top of the list. So you always would get first priority before we would bring it to someone that is on the external wait list.
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know that. What would you say is the hardest emotional hurdle for moving to a community like Luther Acres?
I think one of them, again, are their things. The attachment to bricks and mortar, attachment to maybe the home that they raised their children in and they were married for 50 years. And to give that up is very challenging, because they feel it's the loss of independence.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're coming to independent living,
Yeah.
if a loss of independence is always a loss that
Mhm.
people feel.
Yeah, there's almost like a grieving process that needs to take
100%.
place, and just like you really have to face that head on, that I'm moving to a retirement community.
Right.
You're not moving to a nursing home, you're moving to a retirement
We're
community,
moving
but
to a
still,
retirement community, which again, when I go back to Melissa and her, it's like a science and an art with that emotional piece, and showing them friends and friendships and lifestyle and things to do, that they're doing it with people at Luther Acres before they're even living at Luther Acres, which I think makes that bridge a little easier to cross.
yeah, for sure.
As they're moving through these emotions that they're feeling. But people have to come to terms with that themselves.
Well, and it depends on their living situation, but sometimes people are really truly isolated where they live now. If they have lost a spouse, and they don't live in a tight-knit community, which a lot of communities are friendly but not friends, and so I've talked to a lot of people and helped a lot of people over the last couple of years move to retirement communities.
And they're no longer lonely.
They were so excited because they're like, I can't wait to get there because I'm gonna have friends. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here by myself anymore.
Right.
So
Right.
those are usually the people who are excited to move
They
in.
are.
They
yeah.
are.
They definitely are.
They are.
Yeah. What about working with adult children? Like, what did they struggle with the most with helping their aging parents transition to a community?
I think the biggest thing is realizing that they sometimes need to take a bigger role because parents can't always get from point A to point B, and so sometimes they don't want to step on their parents' toes. But I think that you can do it in a way in that it's helpful and you can show them all the benefits of it versus all that they're losing. It's really perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you throw in things like dementia or something like that, some people just don't understand it.
No,
Yeah.
that is true.
And that is really
That's very,
hard.
very confusing
It
and
is.
very challenging.
It is.
Yeah. I just work with a gentleman who is 93. His wife was in assisted living. She'd been in there for a little over 2 years, and they were hoping she was going to get better and be able to come back to the house, and she never did. And when I met him in September of last year, he was pretty sharp. And then by the time his house was actually closing in November, like, he really was struggling with remembering things and keeping everything together. And that was really hard to navigate with him. But yeah, that just goes back to that whole thing. It's like, I don't know that you're ever going to be able to convince everybody, but if you can move before you need to move, you're just going to be in such a better position. But people are always trying to thread that needle between like moving right before they need to move, like right before they need it, but you can never time that perfectly.
Yeah. And when you throw dementia into it, it makes it even harder because the longer you wait, the less ability that individual has to make new connections. And when you take them out of their home, you're going to see a decline because they're not in their safe, secure environment.
You're right.
And if you wait too long, they can't rebound. If you do it early enough, then they can make those connections and it can be enjoyable for them. But when you wait too long, sometimes it becomes a very slippery slope.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Do you have a transition story that kind of like stuck with you most?
There's so many.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the people who don't wait and move in early and just live. It's very rewarding.
I'll share one because I love this story. We had a couple that joined our wait list, and there were like multiple friends, and they joined. And the woman made a vision board.
Oh, this is a wonderful story.
She sat down and she made a vision board. And not only did she took pictures from our brochures, she picked the floor plan that she wanted, and she made a board that she hung in her hallway. And every day she would come in and say, I want to get a call in April. And I called that lady in April.
Isn't that crazy?
And not only did I call her in April, but I called her for the cottage that she wanted.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they are there now, living their best lives.
Really living their best lives. She manifested that
She
cottage.
manifested it. And her friend who just moved in last week, her and her husband just moved in last week, she came to me after this couple moved in and she said, look, my vision board is not as pretty as hers, but here's what I want. And they ended up just moving in this past week and just found out that one of their really good friends, I just offered a cottage this week, and she's positioned in between the two.
Oh, that's
so there's
fantastic.
3 of them in a row.
That's beautiful.
So I love that. There's another, we have a 14th generation family that the 14th living blood relative moved into our community over Thanksgiving. And she's there with her cousin and her uncle and her father-in-law and her aunt, and literally span from the aunt is 101 and they just moved in and they're in their late 60s.
Well, when you said Luther Acres is a family, I mean, you weren't kidding. For them, that's very
It
literal.
truly is. And now we also have a smaller campus in Columbia,
Yeah.
St. John's Her,
Yep.
And that does not have skilled nursing, but that has beautiful cottages and independent apartments and personal care. And that too, the cottages have years-long wait lists. For the
Yeah.
You know, so cottages are,
People want the cottages.
people want the cottages.
Yeah.
So Luthercare now has cottages.
Yeah.
Nice, big, beautiful cottages.
Thank you for sharing those stories. That's really
Yeah.
cool. What would you say is the biggest mistake that families make?
Again, waiting too long
Yeah.
and assuming that when you are ready, what you want is going to be there.
Right.
And I think also not understanding that I can't tell you how long that wait list is.
That's true.
And so I literally will have someone that I tell, look, it's going to be 3 to 5 years. And they call me a month later, where am I on the list? Probably pretty much where you were when you joined a month ago.
Yeah.
But just not understanding it's a process. I can't
Right.
give you an answer as to how long it's going to take. We do our best to treat everybody fairly, and we do it in order, and
Just get on the list.
get on the list.
Get on
Yeah.
the list. Now, when you're if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking, you know what, I think I may want to be in a retirement community, and maybe you're 60. You know, maybe when I'm 60, get on the list. Fill out the applications, do your research, pick your community, and get on the list.
Yeah.
And then go
Even if you're
visit.
not 100% sure,
No.
get on the list. You
Get
don't
on the
you don't
list.
have to. Getting on a list does not mean 100% you're going to this
No.
community. I think that's another
I
misconception.
think so
Definitely.
too. You
Yeah.
don't, exactly.
And
Yeah.
most of us that have a fee to go on the wait list, it's a refundable fee.
Right.
So I oftentimes, especially if somebody needs to move quicker, I will say visit as many communities, join the wait list, and then who can serve you first.
Right.
That's what you need. Sometimes you'll wait for what you want, and you have the
If you
benefit
can.
of that if
If
you
you
can.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't.
Sometimes
so
you can't.
don't just put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. What is your advice to people? Should they sell their house before they move in?
I always tell people, please don't put your house on the market until you're committed to something, because you put your house on the market. If I don't have something in the time frame that you sell your house, where are you going?
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, that's okay. And I've had people do
Yeah.
that.
Know
and
that you're going to be
rent an
making another move.
apartment, but you know
Right.
you're going to make a second move or have a kid you can stay with. And I've had people that it just worked out.
Right.
But there are times that it doesn't work out. So I
Yeah.
always encourage people, do what you have to do now to start downsizing, to start getting your house ready to put on the market, so that when I call you and I offer you something and it's something that you want, you can pull the trigger.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as a realtor, I like to meet with people that are going to be moving into a community. You know, you don't always know, but if they're like a year out, that's when I want to start seriously planning and
Yes.
helping them get the ball rolling, because it is, depending on the house, depending on how big it is, depending on how much stuff they have, you're never going to be like, oh, wow, I met with that realtor too early and got the process of downs. Have you ever heard anyone say, wow, that downsizing was much easier than I thought it would be?
No.
Yeah, no one ever says
Yeah,
that.
in our letter that goes out to you after you join our wait list, there's a paragraph in there about don't wait to start downsizing.
Yeah.
Start now.
Yeah,
Do those preparations so you are ready when we call.
right. What, well, you kind of alluded to this, but what advice would you give to your parents in the situation where they were, considering a move to a community?
Start early.
Yeah,
Visit your communities. Know what you're looking for, and find those communities. Find the community that fits you best, and get on a wait list or a membership. Because
yeah.
that-
Get clear on what's important to
Get
you.
clear on
What
what's
are your
important
must-haves?
to you. And then once you're on that list, then get to know the people who you're going to be spending the rest of your time with when you do move there. So relationships, get to know some residents who live there. The counselors, eat at the restaurant, swim in the pool, attend an activity, attend a class, so that it is going to be home, whether it's in a year or in 5 years.
Right.
And
Yeah.
as that adult child who has gone through this, I try to tell everyone, this truly is the best gift you can ever give your children, is the peace of mind of knowing we don't have to wait till the wheel falls off. We've got a plan. This is what we're doing. And know that those higher care levels are there. You're never going to be in an emergency or be stuck at a hospital
And not
saying,
know
oh,
where to
mom's
go.
going to go to the county home because there's no openings in a nice retirement community. So that, for me personally, I try to share that with everyone.
Yeah, it's powerful. If someone's watching and they're feeling overwhelmed, what is the first step?
Call. Just call. I love to sit down with people and just talk with them. What makes sense for you? And one of the things I did when I switched careers was I got licensed as a certified senior advisor. So that means I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I can help guide people to where they need to go to get the best information. Just have a conversation, whether it's you're coming to Luther Acres or you're going somewhere else, but at least make knowledgeable decisions. And I'm happy to talk with anybody that wants to ask, what should I do in this situation?
Right.
Yeah, gotcha. Just take the first step is is so simple, but it's sometimes the hardest one to make the call, right?
Make the call.
And that's the first step. You're not going to have accomplished that much, but that's how you get the ball rolling in the right direction.
Absolutely.
You know, so
100%.
Great. Well, thank you for being on, ladies.
Well,
I really
thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having us.
Absolutely.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very much.
Awesome.